Shalom, Havadim. Oh, now I feel like you guys can't see me. I'm not sure what's going on. I hope you can see me. Oh, okay. That's a little better. Shalom, Havadim. Um, it is Tuesday night, and I know the lighting is kind of cozy. I'm in my car, just warming my truck up. I'm about to go home in a minute. It's raining cats and dogs out here in Northern California in the Bay Area, but I just wanted to just bring you all a message, the compelling of it all. I might name this video, but another good name for it, which the Ruach just put in my spirit, is it starts with an invitation. You know, the word compel and compelling, that is, you guys can probably hear the rain. I love it. I love this time of year. Um, but the past couple of weeks, that has been an ongoing um, word that we've been using. Me, caregiver, and Tiffany, we've been using that word compel, the compelling of it all by Yahweh. Now, we as the Mishpachah, we are compelled by Yahweh. But anyone can be compelled by Yahweh, and also those that don't accept the invitation, they can also have a compelling not to accept the invitation. But how, Baruch, blessed are we that we accept the invitation, because that's where it starts. I was just reading in LUQAS chapter 14, and Yeshua sat down to have some bread on the Shabbat amongst the Pharisees, or those that are seasoned in the Torah. And he sat and had some bread, and he noticed some things that just didn't sit right with him and his Ruach, and he began to tell the story about an invitation from the master given to his servant to go out and invite everyone to the supper. Everything was, the master had arranged everything, and when everything was arranged and everything was set up, and let me tell you, if you have ever planned or invited people over to your house for dinner, that is a preparation. There is details that go involved. You set that table up and you set out that food like you probably never do for your family that lives in your home, because you want everything to be just right. You want everything to be as perfect as possible, because you're inviting people into your home. And I know when I was raised that when not strangers, but when friends or people that don't live in my home, when they come to my house, I set out the good food, everything is good. And if you're like me, your mom had maybe her fine china or just her nice dishes that she only set out for certain occasions. So just think about that when he, the master, and this is in this parable that Yeshua is giving, this master had a servant. So, you know, I just envision that it's a really nice home. Everything is set just so, because he wants to invite people in to sit and dine and eat with him. And this brings to mind too Tiffany's video earlier today when she talks about that, our food, and how Alan had mentioned in his video in the past that there's a certain specific special anointing when it comes to dining and eating with someone. And I can only tell you guys what my mother used to say. Not everybody is invited to my table. It's what my mom used to say, because you have to be special enough to eat at her table. Dinner time is a special time. That's when all of those, they should be and hopefully are like-minded ones, get together and fellowship. That's a time to fellowship. If you have someone there that's not in the same fellowship as you, why would you have that person at your table? It takes away from the anointed, the kodeshah of what's supposed to be going on, where you all are eating and being married together in the name of Yeshua, Yahweh. So back to the story. So the master sent out his servant. And whenever we hear the word servant, I'll link a video that I made maybe a year ago about the servant with the jar of water. And the servant, whenever you see servant, whenever I see servant in one of Yeshua's parables, or really almost any parable, the unnamed servant, always liken that to the Ruach HaKodesh. And the master, of course, is Yeshua. So the master sends out the servant and says, let them know that everything is ready and prepared. They can come in and eat with me. One by one, when the servant goes out to let the people know, oh, we're ready. My master is ready for you guys. He's ready. One by one, they give excuses why they can't accept the invitation. One person says he wants to come in, but there's some land that he has to get ready. His spouse is ready for him. I mean, just think of all the excuses that maybe we ourselves in the past, before we accepted the invitation, we've given why we couldn't accept the invitation or the call to come and eat of the goodness of the bread of Chai, which is Yeshua, and how that makes him feel. So one by one, they were doing this. So the servant was going back to the master and telling the master what they said, or that they couldn't come. So he sent them out again and said, you go out and you find people in the highways, in the hedges, those of lowly of spirit, the abandoned ones, the homeless, and you tell them that my house is ready for them to come and eat what I have prepared for them. So again, the servant went out. I'm sorry, I had to pause my phone. The servant went out and he came back and he said, Master, I've done all that you said, and there's still room. There's still lots of room in here for more people. The point that Yeshua was making was that it starts with the invitation, because then he says that the master tells the servant, those who I invited, I'm going to actually read the scripture because it's so powerful. For I say to you that none of those men who were invited shall taste my supper. It starts with the invitation. The compelling starts with the invitation. You know, in Tiffany's video, she talks about how she would say prayer with her children at night. And it struck me because I remember something very similar happening to me when I decided I'm going to accept this invitation. That was the invitation. She would pray with her kids at night. She was a proud Christian. She thought she knew something, but then she realized, I really don't know anything. I want to know what this is about. So she went into the master's house, accepting that invitation, went through the door of Yeshua. And then the compelling started with Tiffany. Then every single day, out of her, not of her works, but because of the compelling of Yahweh and Yeshua, every day she was praying for wisdom and knowledge, and wisdom and truth. It was the compelling. When we are compelled all throughout the word, when you see the word compelled, it is nothing that person is doing on their own might, or because that's just something they want to do. It's the compelling of it all. It's something that's effortless, that they're in a position where I need to do this. I have no other choice. I want to do this for whatever reason that is. So when you see somebody doing something that's nice for somebody, I mean, because we all do that. We might do something that's nice, or we might, do whatever for anyone. Now, it's one thing to do something that's nice for someone, but it's a whole other thing when you are compelled to do something that maybe you just have never done before, but you want to do this because you are compelled by Yahweh to get in, to dig in, and the Ruach is doing all the work. It's an effortless thing that you do. But you know that in your heart and in your Ruach, in your heart and your mind, you have this strong urge and this strong desire to do something different, because you took the invitation. You accepted that invitation and you came and you ate of the supper. And just think how it'll be when we go to the Shamayim and we eat. Oh my goodness, and we drink from the river of Chai, the compelling of it all. You know, it's nothing that we do on our own might. And it's so wonderful. In that same chapter, you know, Yeshua goes on to say that anyone that says they love me but is not willing to give up his wife, her husband, kids, land, anything of this world in the flesh, you won't eat with me. And it's just that simple. It's that plain. We talked today in the live stream. Caregivers said things that are black and white, and that's plain. Yeshua made that very plain. Those are things that you have already counted the cost. Yeshua talks about that. When you build a house, you don't count the cost of what it's going to cost you to build that house and the foundation and everything. When you are compelled to want to build that house, things are going to happen. And it's going to be effortless because that's what you want to do. But it starts with the invitation. Are you accepting Yeshua's invitation? Do you want to sit and eat with him? Do you want to be compelled to eat more and get more and take more from his buffet? And be glad, be glad that you're accepting his invitation. Do you really want to do that? Now, I also want to say, and I just want to be very frank, don't think that because you're showing up to the live streams or your how can I say this? Okay, so Abba, he's just going to help me. Don't think that because you're just showing up, that it's the compelling that you're just showing up. Don't think that that's anything that you're doing. Abba is always in the driver's seat. You're there because he willed you to be there. He wanted you to be there. He is always driving. Now, when you continually keep going, keep coming, that's the compelling of it all. Now, if you don't ever come to another live stream, if you don't ever fellowship with our Mishpacha again, but you're in his word and you're digging in and you're intimate with him, which I believe that the intimacy with Yahweh, he's going to compel you to be amongst others, the Mishpacha, others that believe him and that are also being compelled to be in his in the master's house eating the supper. It's going to compel you to be in that fellowship and to be around the table fellowshipping and talking and being glad. It's the compelling of it all, but it starts with the invitation. So yeah, when you guys get a chance, and you've probably read it already. I've read that before, but I never read it like that before until today. So I'm going to, I think what I'm going to do, and I'm going to pray about this too. And if you all can just pray for me as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to title this part 1 because I don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know what Yahweh's doing with me in this compelling thing. The compelling of it all. Yireh Yahweh. But I'm going to title this part 1. He is putting something in me and I don't want to share just yet. Just watch and see where things go with my channel. Because I Vanessa in my flesh, right? It's not that I have a hard time. I just don't come on as often as I probably should. And that's Vanessa. That has nothing to do with compelling, nothing. That's just me. But he is now compelling me, and I'm feeling hot just talking to you all about it, to come on here more and fellowship with you all and to bring you more of what he is spilling into me, because it's not just me. I'm not just alone. And he gave me this ministry for a reason, because it's not my ministry, it's his. And one thing that's something that I definitely need to work on, and I asked you, the Mishpacha, to pray for me that I continue with this, and I be consistent with it. You know, my calling, I truly believe, is to be a witness of his esteem for those, especially single women, women period, in this day and age, in this crazy madhouse of a world. And just to tell it like it is, I'm pretty much a straight shooter. I make my videos, you know, raw, and I feel that the beraha, the blessing that he gives me from doing it that way, is absolutely amazing, absolutely. So he has some things that he's spilling in me that I definitely need to get out, and not hold them to myself. And so again, I ask that you all pray for me on that. Keep Tiffany, you know, Tiffany Detzel, in your prayers as well. You know, it's not the easiest getting on camera, but I do feel so much more comfortable once the camera is rolling, because it's not me, it's him. And we don't do nothing. We do nothing. He does it all through us. We just accepted the invitation. We accepted the invitation. And that was the beginning that initialized the compelling of it all. So I love you all. My truck is pretty warmed up now. So we're about a little over 16 and a half minutes in. I just want to end this with a prayer, a palau to our beloved Yahweh Elohim. Oh, Abba Yahweh, I thank you so much, Father. Thank you for allowing me to come to you and just give the mishpachah and all those that you have invited. You have invited into our Adon, our master's home, to eat. All those who accept the invitation and know that everything that we have on this earth, it will be 7, 10, 1,000-fold more in the Shamayim. And that's what's most important. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for compelling us to be in your presence of the Ruach HaKodesh all the time. And to know that there is nothing too small or nothing too big that we can't bring to you. We appreciate it, and we thank you for continually giving us the Meltah, revealing yourself to us, Abba. In the mighty name of your Yahid, Yeshua, the name that you gave him above all names, Yahweh. Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh, the name above all names, Yahweh, Ehad. And all the Kodeshim, all those who have accepted the invitation, say Amen and Amen. Shalom. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one.